when I first started this page, I was just doing stuff on ranching and farming. And this is now turned into other topics that you just can't turn a blind eye to. People. My people. I mean everybody. You have to go down to your city halls, to your local government, and have a conversation. You gotta go to your congressmen, your senators' doors, and have a conversation. You need to demand town hall meetings. You need to demand a meetup. There are so many Americans that are suffering, getting up, going to work every day, trying to take care of their family and feed their kids. But you got Washington telling you, oh, we have a deal. They want to make a deal. I've seen the price of oil go up and down. They need oil at a certain price to pay for these corporate executives' bonuses. They need oil to stay at a certain price in order for us, the hardworking American people, to give aid to that little bitty country that begins with an I. Why are we funding this country that begins with an I? Why? Everyday American people are going to work every day. We're funding this war in the Middle East. Today I watched diesel fuel this morning, which was already high as hell at $4.89. When I came back from my ranch, it was $5.69. If you do the research, look at the price of diesel 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. It's the same diesel. Why are we paying this price for diesel fuel? What I mean by we, why are the trucking companies getting their asses handed to them? But you have a president that tells you he loves the truck drivers and they love him. We don't love you. The trucking business don't love you. These are everyday hardworking people that you're making $2 to $3 extra per gallon off of them compared to the fuel prices of what they were a few years ago. And you multiply that times 20, 30, 40, 50 million trucks on the road and how many gallons these trucks hold. And then the everyday person that drives their car, 200 million Americans in their vehicles every day, and you're just price gouging them. They're paying an extra $2 a gallon for fuel. If you add all that up, we Americans are funding this war. We're paying for their decisions. And your local politicians are doing nothing to help you. They have to be held accountable. And then we keep getting these recalls on food, chicken, eggs, fish, you name it. Recall after recall. Have you ever seen a recall on Jack Daniels? Have you seen a recall on Pepsi? Have you seen a recall on cigarettes? Have you seen these recalls? No, you haven't. We're living one big lie. Until people come out of the mindset, they're going to slowly take us out. Stop falling for everything and standing for nothing. You know, it's the same song and dance every single time. Your borders are safe. We have the strongest U.S. military. We have the greatest economy. How is the greatest economy when a person who makes sometimes $70,000 a year can't take care of their wife and 2 kids? How is it a great economy? How is America great? America's not great. People are hurting. People are starving. We got money to fund wars, but we can't feed the poor. How is that possible? I'm encouraging everyone, Start at your local levels, your mayors, your city council. Step down. Today I was in the store and I see this lady. She's got a basket full of crayons and pencils and markers. Basket is full. And I'm like, wow, you're buying school supplies. But I'm looking at like, that's a lot of notebook paper. It's a lot of spiral notebooks, a lot of pens. We're talking about a couple hundred pens and pencils. She says, no, I'm a teacher. These kids can't afford school supplies, so I buy it myself. Americans' educators are the least appreciated. I think every teacher should make at least $100,000 a year. Every teacher. But you have teachers that care so much that they are willing to dig into their pockets and fund the war of children that don't have. I salute those teachers. But we have school districts that don't support these teachers. And it was brought to my attention here in Texas, how many teachers are quitting, or how many teachers have to return back to work and have been assaulted by students. We're talking about 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. But we have teachers out there that are buying school supplies. Now I'm going to piss a few people off, but ask me, do I care? I'll wait. Nope. You see, we got these bonnet-wearing hood boogers that go into these schools. My son ain't learning nothing. My daughter ain't learning. She ain't teaching. You can't teach these kids because you have taught them to be disrespectful. You've taught them to be disruptive. There's no values. And I think that when these kids commit a crime against these teachers, you, the parent, should go to jail right with them. Yeah, you should go to jail too. Y'all need to be cellmates. But you blame the teachers. The teachers are there to teach, not to raise your children. Oh, I forgot. You're not even raising your kids. You're just dropping them off every day with your bonnet and your pajamas on. Nothing but hood boogers. I said it, hood boogers. And hood boogers come in various different shapes, sizes, and races. Hood boogers. But these school districts, especially in Texas, are not standing behind their teachers. They're not supporting their teachers. Teachers are being assaulted, physically assaulted. Not just verbally, but physically assaulted. And what do? Which I just learned this today. They make these kids, what's that number? 504. They're sped. They have a disability. But you got these students beating the brakes off of teachers. And you know what? The parents get a check. A check. How about we go to the old days, you get the belt and you beat your kid's ass? That's what needs to happen. But the state of Texas and other states make an excuse. And they say the kid has a disability. So we give them a check. And who pays for that? You do. I do. Tax money. Because the hood booger doesn't want to raise their kids. You call it a disability. No, you should go to jail with your kids. It's called dysfunctional parents. But America's teachers are suffering. America's teachers can't even keep food on their own tables, yet alone they have their own families. No one's going to your local congressman and your local governments complaining about the school districts. My hat's off to all of you teachers that's trying to teach the children. But unfortunately, you got these hood boogers that's dropping them off to you every day. And here we go, about to roll around to the school system again. See, the important things that goes on in this world, nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about. And then we got these food recalls. Everything is design play. We're about to have a global collapse so they can usher in the New World Order, the new digital ID, digital currency, and every other trick up the sleeve. What happened to Doge money, wasteful spending? That was enough money, allegedly, that you guys found wasteful spending to increase every teacher's salary. That was enough money to help people who need medicine. But no, the big pharmaceutical companies, that some of these, your politicians, your Washington politicians, your congressmen are invested or owners or have some type of money from lobbyists to vote a certain way. The little Tylenol pill or the little diabetic medication that only costs pennies, but they sell you for $4,000 and $5,000 a pill. I've seen pills that are that expensive. I've seen pills at $200 and $300 and people can't afford it, but it only costs you a few pennies, under a quarter to make one pill. Sometimes as low as 3 cents. America's being robbed blind. I'm only one person, one voice. Agenda 2030 is around the corner. Around the corner. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? America, wake up. You need to start standing up today, not tomorrow. And I'm sure somebody's going to say in the comment section, oh, you're just on TikTok ranting and raving. I'm not ranting and raving. I do my part. But are you doing your part? This is why I tell people to put in the comment section. People need to interact. Make decisions. Make structural decisions. We are in a major crisis and it's going to get worse. If you can't see the 52 fake out there playing with you at the pump, with our food supply, we have food that's not even accepted in other countries. We have food in America that other countries deemed toxic, hazardous, but they're feeding it to us.